that it would make more sense to put in, say, a former town manager or somebody like that who could take over things on a day-to-day basis. So I think the plan still is that once we get there, either through agreements or through bankruptcy or whatever it takes, that at that point it would be appropriate to transition to a more of a municipal manager who could implement.
That's if the receivership continues and if you don't go to bankruptcy.
No, even if we go to bankruptcy, at that point, hopefully the bankruptcy court, if we go there, would approve a plan of recovery that would include debt reductions and so forth. And at that point, we would need someone to implement that plan. And so from going forward, that might be an appropriate point to transition to a manager of some sort.
Okay, but anyway, so there's no bad blood or any hostility or anything like that?
Not at all.
Okay, all right. Now, I noticed that the state of, I compared Central Falls being an orphan left on a doorstep a little earlier in the show, and the legislature said no to the $5 million. You know, and I understand why. They said, look, we passed this receivership thing. It doesn't work. We're not going to put any more money because we'll be doing it every year. I guess that was their.
Well, I mean, they also have the question of Central Falls isn't the only city or town in financial trouble. Why should we shower millions on them and not deal with even our bigger problems and other troubled municipalities? And the money would only have enabled us to have more time to try and work things out with all of these constituent stakeholder groups. And so I think they were basically saying, look, this has gone on long enough. Let's come to a head one way or the other here and take action and do what you have to do.
Last time I checked, you were struggling with if my memory serves me correctly, $1.8 million in current bills that you didn't have any money for. There was about $21 million in bond obligations, and there was $4 or $5 million in pension payments that haven't been paid. And there's consistently a $5 million structural deficit and an $18 million budget. That's where you were at.
Okay, you're absolutely right.
Is that right? Yeah, okay.
That's about right.
Yeah, okay, so now you go to the legislature, boom, they lock the door, right? They slam the door on you. Now, number two, you go to these unions, but the legislature in their wisdom, Infinite Williams said, Winston said, you could be the receiver, but you can't touch the labor contracts,
right.
Which is crazy.
Right.
But anyway, that's the law. So you can talk to them, but you can't take an agreement to the court, right?
Right, but they gave me a pretty big stick, which is bankruptcy.
Yeah,
in order to go to bankruptcy, you have to be authorized by the state. So uniquely, the receiver of all is the only person or entity that's authorized to go take a municipality into bankruptcy. So yes, they didn't authorize me to unilaterally modify the contracts, but everyone knows that when I'm talking to them, if we don't come to a deal, it's either take something or potentially take nothing. So
now, so now let's get to the reality of the situation. July 19th, you're going to meet with some stakeholders here, and they're either going to say yes or no or maybe. But the maybe can't last too long because I imagine money is a problem day to day.
No question.
And so tell me, in your opinion, I noticed is the fat lady gargling at least for bankruptcy in the Central Falls?
Well, we can't go on much longer, Mayor, with the cash flow situation that we have. We've got all these obligations. We're trying to deal with creditors who are clamoring to be paid. And we owe a lot of money to a lot of folks. So, no, I think it's a matter of weeks if we can't come to some arrangement here that's satisfactory. And I will say that we've gotten off to a good start with the unions. They've been very receptive. They understand the situation. So it's a race against time to try and do a deal here that will work. And if we can't cross the finish line, then reluctantly we might have to go the other way.
Well, it's like church sometimes, though. Many attend. You understand.
But there's also a lot of praying going on.
A lot of praying going on.